Hello, gentle viewers. This is Indian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 21 with the Baltimore Orioles. We are in a an interesting transition era where we're going to be replacing a pretty fair number of our starters, and we're going to have to find some ways to accommodate that. Um, so let us dive right in and take a look. So, of the players you see here in our roster, there are exactly three of them who are guaranteed to be in the lineup next season: Jose Santoya, Eric Dongo, and Adley Rushman. As far as the rest of these players go, any or all of them might be replaced. Daniel Cabrera definitely will be. Let's check in with him one last time. His offer has become more reasonable, but I still can't afford it, unfortunately. We have already voided Austin Hendricks. We extended Daniel Corona. And that's where we are with that. So this is going to be a season of transition. An all-season of transition, I should say. And I genuinely don't know how we're going to fix some of the issues that we have. Let's look at the minors. One thing we do have is Danny Moreno. And Danny Moreno has dominated in the minor leagues. Maybe not to the same degree as others in the past, but he's done everything I've asked of him. He's even played competently at center field. Maybe not great, but competently. So one solution, quote unquote, to my problems is almost certainly going to be Mr. Moreno here filling in at one of the outfield spots. Or DH. I haven't decided that part yet. Another potential replacement is Doug Smart for Austin Hendrick. Which reminds me, let me quickly throw him on the... Oh, I don't have room on the 40-man. Okay. Well, that is problematic. Yeah. Why aren't you better? I look at these ratings, and you should be one of the best center fielders in the majors, and you're not. Like, you struggle to hit okay. I'm going to have to figure something out to do with you as well. So, gosh, I need to try to make some room on the 40-man. Probably by trading some people. Actually... No, a lot of spots actually open up when free agency happens, because a lot of these players will not be here next season. If we look at who we're losing, it's going to be Daniel Cabrera, Austin Hendrick, Joe Jimenez, Nick Senzel, and Jacil De La Cruz. And I currently have about $11 million for extension. So let's quickly look at all of those free agents to be and see if there's any of them that we might want to keep. I cannot afford Daniel Cabrera. In a number of ways, actually. He is getting worse. If you remember, not too long ago, if we look at his scouting page, his contact was regularly in the 70s. Now it's down to 50. And I'm not saying that doesn't still make him a useful player. It does. And I cannot imagine being any happier than if I gave him a qualifying offer and he took it. I would be over the moon. Because getting someone like him for that amount of cost for a year would be ideal for me. And let's look at, like, career-wise, Daniel Cabrera has been everything we could have asked for in an outfielder. Is he a Hall of Famer? I don't know. Maybe. A lot will depend on how much longer his career goes. If he retired today, I'd have to say no. Compared to other right fielders or outfielders in general, 50 WAR is not going to cut it. He's been extremely talented. He hasn't been as talented as he needs to be for long enough. But he definitely could be a Hall of Famer someday. If he plays for another 5 years and keeps up the production he's had, he'd be pretty close to a number of milestones. He'll get 1,500 hits next season. But I think his Hall of Fame case is also hurt by the fact he's never won an MVP. The close games in 2025 when he won third place, and in 2030. In fact, and I know we're getting off track, but that's one of the reasons why you love to watch me, right? I don't think we've ever had an MVP. Yeah, that's kind of been my white whale, hasn't it? I have never won an MVP. And now part of that is like Fernando Tatis having possibly the greatest season in the history of Major League Baseball. How does that 2026 season compare on the all-time leaderboard? Because I know Bonds and Trout and Ruth and a couple of others got really high. That was the 4th best season in Major League history. That's pretty insane. Pretty insane. Really, Bonds is only 12th? Huh. Really? Huh. I mean, it's not like Barry Bonds is an obvious first ballot Hall of Famer in a world in which people just celebrated his accomplishments instead of whining about what he might or might not have done. But, yeah, this season is just mind-blowingly amazing. It is almost unfair how good Fernando Tatis was this season. And we just haven't developed hitters like that. Partly because there aren't that many hitters like that. But also because we've invested so much of our resources in pitching. And I'm still perfectly satisfied with most of our offense last season. So let's look at the other players who are leaving. So we can't bring back Cabrera. Hendrick is too replaceable at this point. And as good as he's been, which he has been, I can't see paying what I've been paying for a player like that. Now, when I have Doug Smart, who's almost the exact same player, and I can play him for a lot cheaper. An interesting article I read in the on Defector yesterday reminded me of one of the things I dislike about modern baseball, which is that teams aren't trying to win, they're trying to make a profit. And that's fine, obviously. It's their baseball team. They can do what they want with it. But what that means is that a lot of teams are always trying to cut payroll. I am not trying to cut payroll, despite what my stupid owner wants me to do. I'm trying to win. But I have limited resources because of my owner. My owner only says I get a budget of a certain amount. Here we go. He says, you know what, you can have the number 8 player payroll, but that's it. Maybe a bit higher. And so I have to kind of accept that. I would actually like to see... I'm tempted to increase my spending on player development and scouting, but let's wait until later on. Okay. So we're not going to bring back Austin Hendrick. What about Joe Jimenez? Maybe. Of all the free agents to be, especially because we've had so much difficulty finding consistently good relievers, what would he want to come back? He wants a 1-year deal that's a slight raise. I will accept that. I will go ahead and give him his $5 million. Because remember, a lot of his struggles were due to our absolutely god-awful infield. Because if you look at his final ERA and his other stats, he looks like he's as good as ever. He is 36 years old, but he's been reliable, he's been trustworthy, and I don't feel like going out of my way to find a new closer. So I'm happy to bring him back in some capacity. Nick Senzel, I think the answer to him is no. He didn't hit well enough to justify his abysmal defense. And with a team that has so many ground ball starters, I can't give him what he wants. So I'm not even going to offer him a new contract. Jacil De La Cruz has been one of the best relievers on my team in the past. But I almost think I overuse him. And if I'm honest with you, I don't think it's going to be worth paying him what he's going to want to have. If he comes back for something like $2 million, I would pay that. But I have a feeling he wants to get paid. Oh, dang. Really? You're going to give me that kind of sweetheart deal even though I'm not going to make you a starter? Like, you had one season where you were amazing, and then you've had other seasons where you've been right around replacement level. But you're also not asking for very much money. I will come back to him because we have some arbitration offers to make. Alright, Rocky Bernal. The starter conversion project in the majors went about as badly as you could imagine. But he did do better in the minors. And I think there's still some possibility that if we let him maybe pitch the whole season in AAA or most of it, that he can straighten out his biggest issues, which were allowing a lot of home runs and just getting hit in general. I want to give him that chance, and it's too cheap not to give him the chance. The Chris Thomas conversion experiment, I think, has to be considered a success. And although I think he still has lots of room to grow, what would you want? Oh, wow. Let's actually just go and offer these guys extensions. Oh, Bernal is pissed at me. Well, that's okay. Let's basically get you for the arbitration amount. It'll free up the amount of money I have for extensions. Martin Herrera imploded last season. But he was also hurt a lot. And I don't know what I'm going to do about him. I will come back to him. Mike Reese is getting to the point where he is an essential part of my bullpen. But his salary also keeps going up. And I think one of the things I need to do is I need to acknowledge that, yes, he has great stamina, but I maybe need to use him a bit less. so that I can have a season like his 2029 again. Although he did throw almost 100 innings. Mike Reese gives me the flexibility to not worry about another relief pitcher. I'm going to give him his arbitration amount. A little bit less if he'll take it. Here we go. I would kind of like to sign him long term, but again, I'm not convinced that it's a thing I'd like to do. Kevin Podlow. I wanted a first baseman who could platoon with Santoya. You were okay, but not great. And I think I just need to accept this has to be Josh Roberts' job. This is what I groomed him for, and I gave up on him just way too quickly. So I'm actually going to non-tender him. That'll save me some money. Clay Fisher. You stabilized me at second base and a shortstop. But you're 35 years old, and I think, what do I do about you, my friend? What do I do about you? Were there any really great minor league seasons? Oh, Kevin, you can have a minor league extension. I believe in rewarding effort, so I'm going to hand out some real quick minor league extension offers. And if they say no, they say no. I'm not gonna yell at them for not taking it if they don't want to. I know that Clay Fisher has been one of our favorite players, at least my favorite player, even though I never let him actually play. And he's still such a good infielder, and we're really hurting for infielders. Like, that was our big issue last season, is that most of our infielders just couldn't handle it. We do have Micah Burns, who at least has the potential to maybe be a decent hitter too, and he plays three positions extremely well. We have Jose Delgado, who probably needs just to be plunked down at third base for a season and figure out if he can handle the position. Because every time I've let him hit in the majors, he's proven that he can do it. I think I just need to make the decision one season to say, hey, Jose, give it a shot, and let's see how you turn out. But one of our biggest issues is the minor leagues, and that is that we have Grullon, or Grullon, it's probably just Grullon, who is a great hitter that I wouldn't trust to play any position other than first. And I wouldn't even trust him to play first that well. He could also be a possible backup for Santoya. I almost think I have to trade him. I'm going to give that some thought here. I have Chris Tharp, who can play second base kind of well and can hit for kind of power. Other than that, though, if he was my starting second baseman, I would have some pretty serious reservations about how well he'd perform. I have Ken Smuller, who is constantly hurt, and is basically Jose Delgado, but at second base, and who keeps ending up pitching, even though I don't want him to, because he's not that great at it. I have Pat Wendt, who is basically Clay Fisher, but a slightly better hitter. And honestly, looking at Pat Wendt, I, A, don't know why I never gave him a shot last season, but B, this is the end of Clay Fisher, I think. I think Mr. Wendt here has the capability to actually contribute right around league average, and I think the rest of his skills make him an extremely useful player. We do have Victor Salinas. He is nowhere near Major League ready. He's the eager beaver, perhaps. I don't dispute that, but I do dispute his ability to be ready for second base in the major leagues. Now, once he's fully developed, I will happily plug him into the lineup and let him do his thing. And I will be extremely happy about that. Do I promote him to AAA? He wasn't great last season offensively. And I have been awfully aggressive with his promotions up to this point. So I think I'm going to ease off a bit and let him enjoy some more time in AA before I promote him again. We do have Luis Amaya, who is my future center fielder. And I think if there's any one reason why I'm hesitant to let Danny Moreno play center field for too long, it's because of Amaya. Both of them will be in the lineup. Let me assure you of that. There is no world in which I don't let both Amaya and Moreno. God, I suck. Play in this lineup. A center fielder with this kind of power would just be an insanely great player. But he hit a major roadblock at AA last season. And it's probably set his development back a full season. Which is unfortunate. But I think at this point, I wouldn't even consider calling him up until 2034. Maybe 2033. But definitely not this season. I don't care how many injuries I have. I am not letting him do anything other than play every day in the minors and develop. He did so well in A-ball. I probably should have just given him to high A instead of bumping all the way to AA, but that's why he's starting the season in high A. And then, depending on how he performs, he might get another shot at AA this season. But I'm going to commit to it right now. I am not even putting him in AAA this season. He's too important to this team's future to ruin him with risky moves up and down the minor leagues. So I'm going to let him repeat in high A and see how he goes from there. Right. So, I think the decision we're going to make is, do we keep Clay Fisher? And I think the answer to that question is no, unfortunately. The thing is that Pat Wendt is basically Clay Fisher, but better in every conceivable way. And I do like having him in the minors, but he doesn't want a minor league contract. So I'm going to non-tender him, but I will offer him a minor league extension if he'll take one. I feel okay with doing that. Jose Vasquez, you are the most maddening player on this team. Everything your ratings tell me say you should be a 280 hitter that hits for pretty good power. You basically should be the 2030 version of yourself. But you were just the worst in everything but power this season. You were still good, though, and I'm still going to keep you for a bit. I'm not paying you $10 million, though. I will pay you $8 million. There you go. Coming down to pending free agents, I will give a qualifying offer to Mr. Cabrera without hesitation. Definitely not. Definitely not. And definitely not. Austin Hendrick would take a $15 million qualifying offer. It's not that important to me to keep his contract. Okay. I think it's time to advance things after we make an attempt to trade Grullon. I mean, he's a DH. That is his upside, and I don't know if he'd be a very good DH or not. Maybe he would be. And maybe I'm being unfair to him. And I do need a designated hitter, which might actually be Nate Gould. Because damn if he wouldn't be a nice designated hitter to have. Like, as much as I love his plate discipline and his contact, which put him into leadoff hitter territory, the thing is he can only ever be a designated hitter. And I don't think he'd be good enough at that, especially because he lacks power. Now, maybe that'll change, and maybe I need to at least give him a fair shake as a designated hitter in the future. But I definitely think he's spending one more season in AAA. So maybe I'll leave him alone for now. But right now, I don't know what to do about Perdomo, my friends. Just like all of us, he's getting old. And while he was an excellent player, the fact of the matter is that his defense is decaying quite badly. And his range is shot. He's making even plays at a better than average thing, but when it comes to the more extreme stuff, he's struggling a bit. And he's goofing up on routine shit too. I know how much I love Perdomo. You all know how much I love Perdomo. But if I can't even get a 100 OPS from him where he's just league average, it might be time to say goodbye. And to let Delgado have the reins. Because unlike Perdomo, actually Perdomo's still a better hitter than Delgado. But Delgado's also a freaking wizard when it comes to... Delgado is a freaking wizard when it comes to defense. And he's hit so well in limited assignments that I think we're doing everyone an injustice by not letting him play come hell or high water for a full season. And yes, I know his play discipline's not great, but he also doesn't strike out. He puts a lot of balls in play. Oh, excuse me. Alright. What can I get for trading Perdomo? And the answer may well be nothing. They may look at a player and just be like, nah, we're good. I can't get a prospect. Okay. What if we kick it up a notch? What if I don't care about contract and I just see what you'll offer me? You're offering me garbage. Alright. So I'm stuck with Perdomo for the foreseeable future. That's just how it is. Oh well. Anyone else I'd like to try to trade? Not really. Can we talk about Bobby Dwyer's insane season? Like, talk about a player who's probably played his way into an outfield spot. I might even put you in right field and let you go to work, because I can't look at a season like this and say, yeah, back to the bench for you. I think you've earned a shot to actually play every day. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to move Doug Smart to AAA. Knowing that Bobby Dwyer is a possibility to take over in right, or in left, or in DH, or whatever I decide, I would be insane to rush someone from AA to AAA. Especially when he got hurt, and I would like to see him fully develop before I call him up. But yeah, Dwyer, you have earned a full season with your incredible performance last year. It was just phenomenal. Okay. Oh, excuse me. And I need to hire a new bench coach. How would you get along with the major league roster? Every one of my pitchers would hate your guts. Okay. Most of my pitchers would hate your guts. Most of my pitchers would hate your guts. Wow, this is, Most of my pitchers would dislike you. Like, I like to promote from within, but just based on relationships and based on chemistry, I don't think I can promote you. I think you're way too controversial. And while the hitters love you, the pitchers can't stand you. I mean, I should also acknowledge that on the whole, it's average. But I think I'd like to just hire an outside bench coach. Someone like a Jose Zapata. Maybe. He's so good at development, but maybe I do need someone who's a little bit better at getting along with my established talent. What? Oh, Iapoke has never been a manager before. He's just been a hitting coach. And a good one. To be fair. Every one of my pitchers wants to stab him in the throat. Is it just that every single manager just favors hitters to a degree where pitchers can't even look at them in the eye? I guess so. Then you know what? Maybe it should be Ricky Bones. Maybe it should be Ricky Bones. Or a former pitching coach. Because they'd almost certainly get along better than these hitters do. But then again, the hitters might hate him. You have very good player relationships, and you're not as great at developing players. I can kind of live with this. I guess I should be looking more on the right-hand side, shouldn't I? Yeah, all the pitchers hate you. Okay. The thing is, Joe Espada has great chemistry, and the only players that he doesn't have it with are players that, except for Bobby Dwyer, won't play a huge role. You won't be great at developing certain kinds of players, though. But I'm actually okay with that. I think you could actually be a pretty solid bench coach for us, even though you're pretty far down the list. Where do you go? There you go. Joe Espada, you're going to be my new bench coach. Are any of my minor league managers, like, nice people? No, Kyle Haynes, all the hitters are going to hate his guts. No, actually, just everyone dislikes him. Oh, he's bad at development. Well, I don't want that. I definitely want coaches who can develop even if they don't have great personal relationships. Oh, well. Okay. Time to advance through time. Let's go up to arbitration. Okay, we got some minor league contracts. The fans really like Mike Reese, and they love Chris Thomas. That's good. I'm glad that they have friends. I literally made one offer to you. If you're going to be a dick about it, Clay Fisher, find a new team. Wow. After all I've done for you, keeping you in the minors and never letting you play in the majors, I'm appalled that you dislike me so much. Actually, I guess it makes good sense. I suppose I would feel the same way. There's my bench coach. I didn't win any gold gloves. Not that we should have. Did I get any votes for reliever of the year? Not even close. I'll get a silver slugger or two, and I'll probably have to be satisfied with that, and maybe another Cy Young for Jack Leiter. Joe Jimenez came back. Who got the silver slugger? Daniel Cabrera, and that was it. Did Jack Leiter get screwed out of the Cy Young again? Dude, Nani Flores, you are garbage compared to Jack Leiter. You do not deserve to ever win a Cy Young award. You've stolen 2 of them from Jack Leiter. You know what this means, right? This means that I have to hire someone to take you out with a tire iron. Like, you led the league in WAR, and in innings pitched, and in wins. Okay, fine. Jack Leiter led the league in ERA, and strikeouts per 9, and hits per 9, and FIP minus. He was the better pitcher, and I think it's just because Texas probably won the World Series that... They did win the World Series, didn't they? I know it wasn't me. Yeah, it's because Texas won the World Series. You gave him the damn award. I'm unhappy with you, hypothetical voters. I know I don't have anywhere near an MVP. I accept that. Daniel Cabrera declined the qualifying offer. I'm not shocked. And they sided with the team for both of them. I actually forgot about them. So here we are with that. Alright, now it's free agency time. Hi, Fernando Tatis. I can't remotely afford you, can I? I'm gonna look. But I know I can't afford him. And they're not even giving me money for extensions because so many people's arbitration deals are coming up. God damn it, Jose Santoya. I just don't get why some hitters are like, I demand $12 million a season. You're a first baseman who can't face left-handed pitching. You're a really great first baseman, but you're definitely flawed, and you definitely don't deserve $12 million a season. I would like to try to get some of the longer-term deals dealt with, but I think the big problem is just the payroll keeps increasing, and my owner is being a whiny little bitch about that, and he needs to accept it. So any deals I'm going to sign this year are going to be one-year deals, and that's fine. What positions will we most like to fill? I would like to try to find... Alright, when does Corona come back? In 8 months. That's July. I wouldn't mind a 1-year shortstop. Or a 1-year second baseman. You know what I'm going to do? How decent is... I know Moreno doesn't have a ton of experience at left field, but I also know he's an incredible athlete. And he'd probably play left field pretty doggone well if I let him. There's also another argument to be made here. And that argument is let Moreno have more development time in AAA. And as much as I talked the entire last season about how I wanted to promote him and how it would be his time to shine, he's only 21. And 1 more year of development, especially if I have him play left field the whole season, or just let him play whatever position he wants just to get a bit more experience at each one, it could be massive. Like, I would not call him up to be a DH. If that's what I decided to do, I would make Kieran Dongo the DH, and I would let Moreno play. I'd let Moreno play left field. Dwyer ships over to right, and then we have like Horacha or someone as the backup outfielder. I'm fine with that. The other alternative, though, is I find a 1-year stopgap to play a position, and Moreno gets another year in AAA to improve his defense, but most importantly, to improve his overall offensive package. And both of those really sound tempting to me. And I guess the question at this point becomes, is this lineup good enough to make the World Series again without Danny Moreno? And I don't know the answer to that, quite frankly. I don't think anyone knows the answer to that question yet. I do know the answer to the question is stop being a stingy bastard, owner. You're 74. You could drop at any time. And all he wants you to do is play 500. He really does not expect me to make the playoffs this season. Which I kind of find... I mean, here, I had to make it by 2032, but I also made last season. What do I do with you, Danny Moreno? Because here is my fear. This is what really deeply concerns me. If he doesn't take another step forward this season, if he gets stuck as a 40 overall, I would be incredibly sad. So I think what might happen is I definitely let him play in spring training. And depending on if he makes any big improvements, I will then decide whether or not to keep him on the roster. I feel pretty good about that decision. Pitching staff-wise, I'm not going to touch any of these guys. I think we're fine. I think we've got enough arms to get us through the season without too much of a hassle. I think Andy Neal has at least earned another shot at being a 5th starter. And I think I've got enough talent in other places that I think we'll be fine. And again, let's not forget, Dave Jackson's ERA would have been an entire run lower if he had better defense behind him. So, okay. Who's on the free agent market, and who would we want to bring in? I mean, would I love to bring in Fernando Tatis Jr.? You're damn right I would. Can I afford him? Not even close. Like, it's not even debatable that I can't afford him. It just isn't. Let us look at middle infielders. Because I think the easiest path to a starting job for someone's going to either be second base or shortstop. So let's look at infielders. And everyone, Vlandel Pena or above, the answer to you is no. Or is it? You are an excellent second baseman in a lot of ways. You hit for contact and you get on base, and you play really doggone good defense. But you're probably looking for a multi-year deal, aren't you? And I can't afford that. So I'm just going to have to say no to you. Willie Adams is a great shortstop who can't hit. I've got a few of those already. This is not a great offseason to be in the market for a new infielder. Alright, let's do some filtering. I would like fielding at primary position is at least 60. And then we're going to do position value. Is that a misc info kind of thing? No. There it is. I'm the worst. I'm going to say second base or position is shortstop. Or I guess position is third base. I mean, I'm not married to keeping Perdomo. Alright. Can I filter salary demands? And I'm going to say demand. Sorry, and demand is less than 10 million. Okay, these are the actual players that we might be able to add to our roster. Alright, so let's go through each one of these player by player. Willie Adams. Willie Adams has been a competent shortstop as recently as last season, but his ratings suggest he's actually closer to his 2029 form or his 2028 form than his 2030 form. And this player is going to be playing every day until at least July. I guess, you know what? I guess with that consideration, maybe I should only be focusing on second base. Because I'm going to be getting Corona Jr. back in the summer. So then I can, if there's any position I can just fill in temporarily, it's shortstop. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that one. I want second or third. All right, Ivan Johnson. Great discipline, excellent second base play. But he doesn't hit for enough contact. You are maybe. If I can't find a better fit for the team, I could maybe take a shot at you. Keone Cavaco has gap power and home run power and nothing else. And he's really struggled to hit in the major leagues. So, pass on that. Nicholas Mills is an absolutely amazing second baseman. It looks like he's never really gotten a chance in the majors. And I think he could hit enough to not be an embarrassment. I really think that's possible. And it would be an incredibly cheap solution to the problem. You can't hit... Tommy Fairbanks is basically a better version of Delgado. Is a better hitting version of Delgado, but a less good fielder. I'm going to make an offer on Nicholas Mills. He doesn't even want a major league deal. What a guy. What a guy. Other than that, that's probably the only free agent move I'm going to make. I think we're going to fill the rest of these holes internally. And I think that's just the best decision for our team right now. I can't afford to get sucked into paying anyone a bunch of money. Because my owner still wants me to keep payroll nice and low. And... yeah. I don't know what to do about Santoya, my friends. His performance has been exceptional. He's been a fantastic player. But can I, in good conscience, play a somewhat limited player $11 million a season? I don't know, my friends. But I have to make that decision right now, do I? I have to make that decision after the season. So I guess I'll just wait on him. Kieran Dongo, for all of his other faults, has done what I wanted him to in hitting home runs and hitting doubles. This is not, say, the greatest player in the history of Major League Baseball, but he fills a role, and he fills that role pretty well. I would not mind talking to him about a longer deal. But he just wants to worry about his arbitration, and I guess that's fair. Yeah. I wish my owner would lighten up on the payroll. I really wish he would. Because I'm never going to be able to field a truly competitive team if I have to keep making these stupid decisions and getting rid of players that aren't that still have a useful role to play, but because their arbitration awards are insane, I can't keep them. Oh no, that's interesting. Done. I have never had an easier decision in my entire life. That, if he accepts that extension, I would be over the moon. And that'll also go a long way to handling some of my issues. Fine, you can both be activated. Congratulations. That was such an easy decision for me. That decision was perfect. And yeah, I am over the moon with that decision, with that contract. And I think he'll be worth every penny of it. I really, truly do. Now, does that actually give me any other room to offer people extensions? It doesn't. Well, I basically gave him his arbitration amount next season. But this is absolutely fine. And I think $11 million is perfectly reasonable for an excellent first baseman who plays the position extremely well and has a lot of secondary skills that make him incredibly desirable. And in back-to-back seasons, he's been a phenomenal hitter. And I see no reason that will ever decline in the short term. Very pleased with him signing a deal that long for that cheap. I think we got a nice below-market value there for the next few seasons at least. Ryan Braun, I can't. And it's not because of the whole steroid thing. I've made my position on that issue pretty clear over the seasons, over the game, I think. I just don't think he's good enough. He is borderline as a Hall of Famer. And for me, when there's other talented candidates, I'm going to give him a hard pass. Garrett Cole. I don't think so. I don't think so. At his peak, Garrett Cole was one of the best pitchers in the major leagues, but his peak was very short. So no Garrett Cole. Come on, guys. Put Bartolo Colon in the Hall of Fame. Don't be a coward. Nelson Cruz, maybe. I want to look at all the first-timers and all the people who are getting ready to expire first. King Felix is clearly better than Garrett Cole. I don't think there's any dispute about that. He had a better peak, and he was better for longer, but again, he retired too soon. And let's face it, his age 32 and 33 seasons were genuinely terrible. I don't think I can go for him. And I know he opted out last season because of COVID, but I hope he does have a bit of a renaissance because he could be a Hall of Famer. I just don't think he has the numbers for it. Matt Holliday is basically Ryan Braun. John Lester is whatever. I'm going to give a vote to Joe Mauer because I think he's underrated and he's one of the best catchers to ever play Major League Baseball. Andrew McCutchen, I think so. I think I would give him a vote. His overall contributions are pretty good. His WAR is excellent. I think he deserves it. Buster Posey, I'll give a vote to. Anthony Rendon, I don't. He is a third baseman, isn't he? And by Jaws, he manages it. The rest of these, by the way, are mostly based on things like awards and leading the league and stats. Give me basic batting stats, please. Man, I don't know about Rendon. We'll see how many spots I've got left when I come back around. Joey Votto for sure. Okay. I feel okay about the 5 I have. None of these strike me as definite first ballot guys. How many strikeouts did King Felix at? 2,500. See, the problem is that David Price, Chris Sale, and King Felix are all kind of the same pitcher. Adam Wainwright has the wins at least. But none of these pitchers scream out to me Hall of Fame. And part of that is not their fault. Part of that is the fact that starting pitchers today don't carry as much of the load as starting pitchers of the past, and therefore it's hard for them to pile up the kind of statistics to seem like all-time great starting pitchers. Like, if you look at something like Joss, Adam Wainwright is a perfectly fine pitcher, but he's nowhere near any of the Hall of Fame standards, like remotely. And it's not his fault that the average Hall of Fame starting pitcher is fucking amazing. Like, a 75 WAR for a starting pitcher is probably not even possible for most pitchers today. And like so many other pitchers, Adam Wainwright went from being a pretty good starting pitcher to just piling up innings at the end of his career. So, I mean, that's why I look at all these starting pitchers, and I'm like, in real life, might they be starters? Hall of Famers? I don't know, because I don't know how long they're going to pitch. Of the three, I would probably vote for Chris Sale. Between Sale, Wainwright, and Price, I think Sale is the best of those pitchers. I'm going to throw him a vote. Because it's not like I don't have 4 more spots on my ballot. Yadi Molina. How much do you value catcher defense? That's what's always been the struggle for me for Yadi Molina. Because he is... he's definitely one of the best defensive catchers to play the game. But apart from a couple of seasons, he's just been not a great hitter. A lot of his value purely comes from contact. Man. I'll throw him a vote. He's basically Omar Vizquel if Omar Vizquel was a catcher and didn't play as long. John Lester, I don't know whose cornflakes you pissed in, but left-hander is the dumbest nickname for a pitcher I've ever heard. And I've heard some pretty dumb nicknames. Like, you got a nickname like Yasmanian Devil, which is amazing. And it's like, you throw with your left hand, therefore you're the left-hander. Whatever, dude. Edwin Encarnacion hit a lot of home runs. And that's all he did. Like, I'd vote for Nelson Cruz before I'd vote for Edwin Encarnacion, I think. I think I will vote for Nelson Cruz. Yeah, Edwin Encarnacion just didn't have... I mean, he is a third baseman. And again, I have to judge it within the third baseman context. But he was often kind of bad at third base is the issue. And he played a lot of first base, too. I'm not going to give him the third base discount when he mostly played first base. I think I have to say no to that. Anyone else here that I look at and I'm like, I need to vote for that person? I don't think so. I'm going to go ahead and submit my ballot. Okay, I only made one free agent offer, and I still haven't heard back about them. Get off your damn butt and sign my offer, please. Don't make me start Chris Tharp. You will offer me Gunnar Henderson, who is admittedly an intriguing third base type, who plays the position well. You're asking for Zachariah Bernardi, who is probably never going to make the major leagues. and Sean Marshall, who is definitely never going to make the major leagues. But here's my objection to this. He makes a stupidly huge amount of money. So the answer to that one is definitely not. That's a blatant salary dump, and it's not one that I need. I'm sorry, fans, but I am going to get a supplemental first-round pick. You know what? That was a good deal for him, and I hope he enjoys playing in El Paso. I didn't want to do it, bro. I didn't want to let you go, but I had to. Fans are still at 84. Let's be realistic here. Let's not be a jerk. Why did I get notified about this trade? Oh, you are 1.1 of the players that I wanted to trade for. Or draft, rather. You actually had a pretty decent season. Huh. Oh. Rosters and transactions. Smart. Lonzin? Lonzin. Again, I'm not committing to anything. I'm just giving them a 40-man roster spot so I don't lose them. French, I don't care. If someone takes him, they take him. I don't know who gives a shit because I certainly don't. I'm going to go ahead and waive. I'm going to trade Muller and see if I can get something for him. So I'm going to designate him for the assignment so I can have a 40-man roster spot for him. I'm getting a lot of offers, which is nice to see. It's my old pal, Hernais. I remember you. You haven't been good in like 5 seasons, so I'm not going to do that. Okay. How are you not starting? I don't really need starters right now, but damn. Carter Young is decent. I think he makes too much money, though. Luis Garcia, how have you been doing, my friend? Not well. Not well at all. Okay, there's some interesting options here if I decide I do want to trade Muller, but let's wait on that. Anyone else who might benefit from a 40-man spot? Oh, where is Wendt? You're making the team this year, so you get a roster spot for sure. I really do like Solis. I think he's got all the world of talent. I think he just needs to develop it. Trujillo, I'm not so impressed by. So I will go ahead and actually put Solis on the 40-man so I don't lose him. Anderson's just a great shortstop, but who can't hit at all. And Lerner is that. Alright. That's all fine. Let's go up to the Rule 5 draft. Wow, I didn't realize the fans liked him so much. Yeah, he wanted to be a starter, and I was never going to make him one. We do have Nicholas Mills now, who's almost certainly going to be my opening day second baseman. Where'd he go? There he is. I'm willing to give him a shot in the majors because he's such a good fielder that I think we can manage it. Opening day shortstop is probably Delgado. I could also just give Tharp a shot at second base. He's never really had a chance to start. And see how he does? Maybe. I don't want to lose Mills in the Rule 5, so I'd almost have to put him on the 40-man if I wanted to keep him. Maldonado, I will happily trade you for the first prospect that is offered to me. Unless that answer is no prospects, which it might be. Do you need a 40-man spot? You don't. Then guess what? Welcome aboard, Bobby Brandsetter. You can't play any position, but you can certainly maybe hit someday. Done. That then gives me the 40-man roster spot to ensure that I don't lose Mills. Even if I don't automatically put him on the Major League roster. No, I'm ineligible to actually pick. I'm actually ineligible to draft anyone, so I'm just going to go ahead and end my draft. What if any of my players will get taken? Nobody did. Okay. Oh, San Francisco. How do you let a first baseman like this go? He's even a switch hitter. That was stupid, San Francisco. You've ruined him. Why would you not even let him play in Double-A? That's just stupid. That was a very smart Rule 5 draft pick, for sure. Okay, Freddie Garza is an amazing outfielder. There is no getting around that. That's just wow. But you're wanting Chris Thomas, and I'm not going to give you Chris Thomas. I think Chris Thomas is on the untouchable scale now. You really don't want him? Why on earth not? I'll offer you Perdomo. Just as a starting offer, I have a lot of prospects you might be interested in. I have to give you Luciano. No. You have some issues with relief pitching prospects. You could be a great one day, so I don't think I can trade Andy Cullen. Let me go ahead and shortlist you, actually. And let me lock down your demotions and promotions. I do like you pitching in Double-A, though. I think you're a little bit too good for me to give you away. I think Juan Ocasio might make the Major League roster this season, if I can find a spot for him. Here, I'll offer you Devin Mann. No. Okay. Well, I tried. I'm not giving up Chris Thomas. Not until I'm sure he's not going to stick on this team, and I think he might. I think Ocasio has to be promoted, though. I think I have to find a reliever to move on from. Because I think Ocasio was just too damn good to be kept in the minors any longer. He just is. Joey Votto finally made it in the Hall of Fame. That's good. A lot of people got dropped. I'm not surprised. It's all up next year for Mauer and Cologne. I'm hoping they both make it. Alright. Where is Ocasio? There he is. Yeah, you are too damn good to be kept in the minors any longer. I need to release you on Major League pitching. I wonder if anyone would offer me anything interesting for Benoist. I'm getting a bunch of offers. Done. I want Bob Bryant in my life. And on my team. A shortstop who can play shortstop so effectively and maybe hit is a real good choice for us. And then Ocasio, you get a 40-man roster spot. I need to trade Muller. I think he is not very good, and you're offering me garbage for him, but you know what? I'll still take it. I can always use more depth in the outfield, so I will definitely take you. I had forgotten that Kinsmuller was like the leadership whisperer. You saw Bobby Dwyer, though, and Bobby Dwyer is around. I definitely can't get rid of Perdomo. He is a leader. All right, let's go up to spring training. You know what? I'm just going to not increase any budget stuff. I want them to earn their money, so we'll stop whining at me. And up to spring training. Mike Vanderplug. I wonder how he's doing these days. Alright. Hendricks got a bit better. So did Bernal. Trujillo, Solis, Vasquez, Lerner, and Figueroa. No one really that impressive has gotten any better, and that's fine. How much money did you end up getting? You got a 2-year deal for $10 million a year, and I wish you well of your journey to a new team, but fans, you're just gonna have to deal with disappointment for right now. We're down to 77. Because I'm not keeping the players that they want me to, but I think we'll all survive. Alright. Let's check out the spring training roster. It's pretty full. You could be a major piece to our relief picture as well. Mike Everman. Huh. This is going to sound really terrible, but I had completely forgotten that you even existed. And I know that sounds awful. It really does, but it's true. I forgot I even had him, and he could definitely be a medium to long-term shortstop solution. Yeah, you will not be ready by opening day. You did fracture your kneecap, so I guess I can't really yell at you for that. Alright. AI, do your thing. Let's go 6-man rotation in spring training. Oh, really? Because of... Yeah, that makes sense. Rocky Bernal is automatically the ace. Whatever, dude. Interesting. So this is the lineup that they go for. I'll accept it for now. This is not going to be the opening day lineup for sure, though. I can tell you that right this second. Can I just put Corona back on the 60-day DL just so that I don't have to worry about them playing someone who's not a shortstop at his position? There you go, Micah Burns. Fine. And to be fair, there's a lot of swapping out of spots here, for sure. But I think this is all acceptable. I am going to be very careful about service time, because I don't want to start Moreno's clock if I don't decide he's going to make the opening day roster. Alright, we get a little bit of player development. Some nice improvements here for a bunch of players. No one in the majors majorly improved, though. Get it? Get it? Roberts getting more power is great, though, because he's gonna have an important role to play on this team. One more week. It's like I didn't have an important job for you, Nicholas Mills, you little shit. Fine. I, again, don't even remember who you are, so I guess you'll be fine. Alright, all the games have been played. It's time to make some roster decisions. Alright. So. Pitchers. I have 18 pitchers. I want Bernal in AAA. I want him to have an entire season of pitching in AAA. Because I think that is going to be the key to him adapting to become a successful starter. He needs a full season to just work on his changeup and his fork and his changeup and become the starting pitcher that could be an amazing one. Easy choice, layup. As a rotation of 5, this is probably good. I think I can definitely live with that. Morales to the minors. Where's Jimenez? There he is. You want me to make the Hirschhauer the closer? I will do it if he stays healthy. That's been his issue. I have too many pitchers. I don't even know who to send down at this point. Lon's in for sure. Lonzon, you're a starter. I want you to learn how to be a starter. Please start. I'm going to send Dave Jackson to AAA, let him get his confidence back a bit. Alex Perez is what Alex Perez is right now, which is a potentially very useful reliever who might be started if he ever developed a third pitch. I guess I'm willing to give him a shot, but I'm also kind of tempted to see if I traded him what I might get for him. I'm down to 14. I really need to get rid of at least 2 more pitchers. Is anyone here a lefty besides Herrera? No. So Herrera's got a job whether he wants it or not. Like, I guess my big issue is that I have a lot of starters who could start for a lot of teams. I guess I'll send down Willett. That brings to 13 pitchers, and I think that's a good start. Clear out this pitching staff, and let's build it the way it needs to be built. I just have a lot of, like, number 3 starters just hanging out in the minors, and I just need to find a way to make them work. Well, the Aces team is definitely... I'm just kidding, it's Jack Leiter, we all know that. Elvis Luciano is the clear number 2. Brandon Hendricks will be the number 3. Chris Thomas, the number 4. And Neil, the number 5. Thomas, I'm going to... How many innings did you pitch? You pitched 166. I'm going to increase your pitch count to 90. And Andy Neal, 90. Let's give you both a chance to impress me. Alright, now let's look at only the relievers. I think Hirschauer is the closer. I feel pretty good about that decision. The only other person who might be the closer over him is Mike Reese. Maybe Reese would actually be the better closer. Reese has been so good for so long and a very clear role, which is basically, I need a reliever, please come out and help me, that I think Hirschauer would benefit from a standard closer's role. With Reese, I might give Reese the stopper role. Herrera, you have an easy role. You're my anti-lefty guy. Ocasio, middle relief. That's a no-brainer. Joe Jimenez, let's make you a setup guy. And Brian Mapp is going to be a middle reliever too. This leaves me with 2 pitchers left who I need to find a role for. And I think they're both going to have basically the same role. I think I'm going to do long relief, emergency starter for Dozier, and emergency starter, long relief for Perez. And I'm just going to jump back over here to see how this looks. Like, I feel like I'm wasting Reese if he's not pitching for 90-plus innings a season. But I also understand he wasn't brilliant. And maybe his value's only coming from pitching so often. Maybe I need to step back his workload so he can pitch more effectively. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make him a setup guy too. And I'm going to put him as the 8th inning guy and let Joe Jimenez be the 7th inning guy. And I'm going to make Mike Reese's secondary role middle relief. Because I want him to get innings, but I don't want him to be brought in every single time there's a close game. Because I don't know that he's earned that role. I don't think he's been consistently good enough. Alright. I've got to find 6 position players to give a new home to. Alright. I have way too many outfielders. Smart's getting a full year in AAA. We already decided that. You are what you are at this point. I don't even know what I'm going to do with you yet. I think I'm going to send you to the minors. Dwyer, where am I going to play you? You are in the starting lineup every single day, Mr. Dwyer, unless you have a big split, which you don't. The only question is, am I going to start you at left or right? And then make... Kieran Dongo isn't the worst left fielder. I'm wondering if putting Dwyer in right and letting Gould be the DH isn't the best choice. Oh, you have a giant hole in your swing, too. I see. Salinas, you are going to be playing in AA this season. You know what? I will let Grulon stay on the team too, and he's going to be my left-handed DH. I still have to find 3 more players to send down to the minors, though. Horacha. Unless I keep Moreno. Moreno did improve a tiny bit. AAA. I might regret it in the short. In the short term, I might regret it, but I think in the long term, it's the right decision. I think I have to find a way to get rid of Perdomo. I think his time is gone. Just anybody at all. Can I get anything for Perdomo? I am getting a fair few offers. Okay, this pleases me. You know what? I'll take Levon Soto. Because here's what this does. This gives me payroll flexibility. And it actually improves our team right now. I think Perdomo just got a little bit too old. I'm going to send Tharp to AAA. Because he hasn't been healthy in a couple of seasons. And I think just... Yeah, he hasn't been healthy in a while. Tharp, you're going to AAA. I'm going to flag you as a DH so that the game doesn't try to use you anywhere else. I'm putting a lot of pressure on these outfielders. Nate Gould can be... Can Josh Roberts play the outfield? No, he's only a first baseman. Okay. Wendt can also play the outfield, curiously enough. I can't have Nate Gould. I think we let Grulon try out as the DH. Nate Gould is much too limited. And in fact, with the big contract to Santoya, I think Nate Gould is expendable. What kind of prospect could I get for him? I'm getting a ton of offers. I love to see that. And I could get an even better first baseman who's even more limited. That's not really what I'm looking for, though, my dudes. Chris Harris is a borderline starter, maybe. Phil McCann is a dominating pitcher. I definitely like that. Wilson Rios would be an interesting outfielder if he could hit a little bit better. Chris Thorbrunn. You know what? We've actually kind of suffered a bit in the backup catcher department. I wouldn't mind actually just asking about catchers. Nice try, Gary Sanchez. John Griggs is a decent defensive catcher who hits okay. That's good. Matthew Nielsen is a little bit better. Cole Stillwell is even better. I do like Stillwell. Nelson Vasquez. Hello. I know your contact isn't great, but you're an excellent catcher. And you've got good power and great plate discipline. I like that a lot. McCormick, you have power but little else. How are you so expensive? No, I'm not trading for that. I'm not spending that much money on a backup catcher. Don't be ridiculous. There's Thorburn again. I do like Wangarena as well. He's got a nice mix of skills. He's not great at any of them, but he's also a very solid catcher. Okay, Siegler is an amazing defensive catcher who actually hits kind of well. He might be my choice. If... is it the same? No, Gonzalez is just a good defender and that's it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and waive you. And then... give me Siegler. I think you would be an excellent choice. Just because of your elite defense, but also because you're an okay hitter. No. It's Vasquez. Vasquez has the chance to provide a ton of surplus value with his bat. And he's never had a shot in the minors, which means he'll also be cheap for a long time. So I'm going to trade for Vasquez. And guess what, Mr. Vasquez? As soon as I can figure where you went... Where did you go? I guess I can access it through my email, can't I? Baltimore. You're my new backup catcher. Um, I need to put you on the 40-man too, don't I? There we go. We're down to 26, and I feel pretty okay about this lineup. I know it's not the world-beating lineup we've had in years past, but I think we're going to be better off in definitely the long term by being a bit more conservative with our promotion strategy. Danny Moreno has a chance to be like a heart of the order hitter for decades. And playing him now just so he can be a very, very good one seems like wasting his talent. So, of course, all this could be ridiculous if I advance to April 1st and Moreno takes a giant leap forward. But that's where we are right now. Let us build the lineup now. Alright, nuke them all. And as usual... Now here's the interesting question. Who is my number 3 hitter now that Daniel Cabrera is gone? And I don't know. But it's probably Jose Santoya. Yeah, it's Jose Santoya. And then Josh Roberts is such a great hitter. I'm going to go ahead and let him be the number 3 hitter against left-handed pitching. And then Josh Roberts is going to be the backup at first base. And he's probably, honestly, because he doesn't have a hole in his swing, he's probably also my number 1 pinch hitter. So that much is set. I don't want to look at potential. I want to look at actual ratings. There we go. Vasquez at cleanup? Vasquez at cleanup. I think I know his power's not quite as good as Rushman's. No, Rushman is still the better hitter. It's going to be Rushman. Now and forever. And Nelson Vasquez, you will be his backup, and Santoya will back up for Roberts. And Vasquez there. I want Vasquez playing once every 10 games. That'd give him 16. That would give him about 16 starts over the course of the season. And I think that's reasonable. I don't want Rushman to be stretched too thin. Especially when he had a bad season last season, and we would like him to bounce back. Okay. I think Dwyer is clearly the number 2. I don't like his ability to draw walks, which is why I'm actually thinking Grulon is going to be the designated hitter as the leadoff guy. I think that just makes good sense. I think he offers elite on-base skills, and that would make him the perfect designated hitter. Leadoff hitter. And then Bobby Dwyer, with his ridiculous contact, is a perfect candidate to bat full-time as the right fielder in the number 2 spot. I'm going to make Roberts the backup at designated hitter. And Santoya the backup here. And I guess Santoya's number 1 pinch hitter. Okay, so the top 4 are set for both of our lineups. Number 5 is pretty obviously Jose Vasquez. He's the best overall hitter who doesn't have a spot in the lineup yet. So in you go, and Huaracha is going to be your backup. And I'm going to be honest with you, Horacha is going to go ahead and back up at every outfield position. So Vasquez starts, and Horacha is going to be the backup. Okay. Number 6, I think, is Kieran Dongo. I think that's the perfect spot for him where he can leverage his power and be an excellent hitter. And I'm going to go ahead and make Horacha a defensive replacement in left field. So there is my dude, Kieran Dongo, Horacha, and defensive replacement. Second, third, and short, I know who they all are. I just don't know what order they're going to go in. Quit picking batting potential. Give me batting ratings. I think Delgado hit 7th. He's the best of the 3. Yeah, I think it goes Delgado, then Soto. No, it's Soto. Soto's my number 7 hitter. Micah Burns is going to back up in all the infield spots. Yeah, it'll go Soto, Delgado, and Wendt. And then Burns will back up at every position there. I guess I didn't check see if Soto can't hit. I mean, he's a bad hitter against both sides, so... This lineup is not going to lead the majors in offense. I don't think anyone would claim that it would. But we've got enough interesting hitters, and most importantly, we have significantly improved our defense. Between Soto, Delgado, and Wendt, we could have 3 Gold Glove winners if we were lucky. Now, the downside of all this is I don't have great pinch hit options. No one on this bench is there for their bat. They're on the bench because they can contribute defensively or in some other capacity. So I think Vasquez is going to be an important pinch hitter, as is Micah Burns. And I'll do the same here, Vasquez and Burns. Pinch runners are going to be Horacha and Burns, respectively. This season may well end up one of our worst. And if that's what happens, that's what happens. I don't mind that. But what matters most is that our core is decent. I would put our top 5 against most other teams, maybe even our top 6. We've got plenty of power. We've got some of the best contact hitters in the majors. I'm really curious to see how you do. I think you could be an important piece of our offense into the future. It lacks a major centerpiece. I completely understand and accept that. The problem is, here is that centerpiece. It's Danny Moreno. I really need to commit to you playing left or center so that you can spend the entire season developing the position. I'm putting you in left. There we go. Problem solved. I know that took me way too long to make that decision, but it's an important decision, and Amaya's going to be my center fielder once he gets out of these offensive struggles. But that is where we are right now. Okay. Any other roster changes I need to make? Everyone that's on or was on the roster that should be. I'm going to shortlist Everman. I want to keep a very close eye on him because he could be the next starting shortstop for the Baltimore Orioles. The big elephant in the room is Corona. When he heals, he will automatically become the number 7 hitter. And I think he'll do a good job at that. And I'd love to have his glove back. Nicholas Mills is probably going to go right back to the minors once he is healthy. Just because Soto is almost as good as he is defensively, and he's a better hitter. But I'd like to keep Mills on hand in case that's what we decide to. So let's go to advanced opening day. I think it's also not untoward to think that the AL East is kind of weak. So even if we play badly, we still have a pretty decent chance to make the playoffs. Player development. Thomas got a tiny bit worse. Ocasio got worse. A lot of people got worse, actually. Wendt got better. I don't see Danny Moreno's name. Oh, you can also... Oh, that's right. You were bad at, like, every position, so you'll just have to figure it out. No big changes here. That's fine. I don't like Thomas losing movement, but I love him gaining control, so I'll take that. Luciano's starting to get older, which definitely makes sense, right? It definitely makes sense that he would start to decline a bit given his age. I'm not looking to move on from him anywhere or anytime soon. Top 100 prospects. Moreno's at number 2. How does the rest of the top prospect list... How does the top minor league systems look? We're number 5. Very nice. And then let's look at the top prospects. No, I want the prospect pipeline. I love this view. It's so good. Let's look just at the Orioles. So here we go. We think he is going to be in the majors in 2032. And I agree that that is definitely a possibility. But I'm also being hesitant because I want him to develop to his full potential. Danny Moreno is the new face of the Baltimore Orioles. I don't think there's any dispute of that. Once he is fully developed, I think he replaces Adley Rushman as the face of the Baltimore Orioles. Or Jack Leiter, maybe. Amaya's a year away. I don't agree with that. I think Amaya's 2 years away. But I'll take it. You really like Tim Locke, even though he's pretty raw. Interesting. Salinas is not ready for the majors yet. Not at all. I strongly disagree with calling him up this season. Lawson, I do agree that maybe he is ready for the majors. I just don't have a spot for him. We have some pretty damn good prospects, in all honesty. The future looks extremely bright for a lot of our team. Sonny Hoskins looks pretty good. Potentially. I'm very excited and curious as to how we do this season. We're relying very heavily on unproven talent. But I don't think that's as big a deal as it might have been in the past. I think our pitching staff is really good. And I think we've significantly improved the defense to the point where we're no longer going to be crippled by that. The next player who's probably looking at a very short leash is probably Kieran Dongo. He's taking Danny Moreno's roster spot for now, but as much as I like his raw power, Moreno is a generational offensive talent. He just is. Whereas you are merely a pretty good power hitter that served a useful role for us for the past couple of seasons. Who's got some decent speed. I'm really excited to see how Jose Santoya takes this new contract and the ability to just play amazing baseball. He is a brilliant hitter. I truly believe he's one of the best in the major leagues, and if he ever developed even a modicum of power, look the fuck out, major leagues. And look at his speed, too. I love everything about him. And what did I give up for him? Because I know it was that time where we were desperate for a new first baseman in the years after Mountcastle. Yeah, I gave up Allerson, who was never going to make my team, and Sean Roberts, who's already retired. So, big win for me. How's Kevin McMahon doing these days? Oh, El Paso got him. Really? Oh, you took him in the expansion draft. I see. All right. More power to you. I wish you well of him. As long as we have the rotation and the bullpen that we do, I think we have lots of potential to continue to be successful. And if everyone hits the way I expect, I think our lineup will also be top 5 in the AL. The problem is that there's not a lot of wiggle room here. I am not worried about Santoya's production. I'm a little worried about Bobby Dwyer's, only a tiny bit. But he was so damn good last season that we had to give him a bigger role. We had to say, have the keys to right field, show us what you can do. And I'll be honest, if he continues to hit and Vasquez doesn't, I'd probably move Dwyer to center field until Amaya is ready. Or even move Dwyer to left field. He's so good in so many positions that I'm really excited to see how he turns out. I think Grulon is probably the most important player on this team in terms of how successful we are. Everything about his offensive profile suggests he is exactly what this team needs. A dynamic leadoff hitter who will hit the ball a lot, draw plenty of walks, and not hurt the team by playing terrible defense. I think he can do all of those things and be an incredibly valuable team member. But I don't know that he can because he hasn't played in the major leagues for more than a cup of coffee. Rushman is my biggest concern. He is a catcher. Catchers break down as they get older. And he has been incredibly healthy over the last few seasons. Which is why I wanted to get a better backup and take a little bit more of the load off of his back. But here's what gives me pause. His BABIP last season was the worst of his career. Except for his awful 2025 season. And notice these are the 2 seasons that he has performed the least well offensively. Actually, no, he was actually really good in 2025 too. Yeah, this was his worst season by a lot. And he still provided positive value because he is a catcher. He played catcher quite well. And, yeah. I have no desire whatsoever to replace Adley Rushman anytime soon. I do think we need to start looking heavily in the draft for a replacement for him, though. He is 33, or 34 rather, and we've only got him for 2 more seasons. And I mean, if it's between Adley Rushman and Jack Leiter, my dear friends, you know who I'm going to pick. I love Adley Rushman. I think Adley Rushman has a great chance to be the Hall of Famer that I wanted to see on this team. Especially if he puts together another 3 to 4 seasons of excellence. But dude, Jack fucking Leiter is all that's I leave it at that. Jack fucking Leiter. What a guy. He is borderline Hall of Fame right now. That's how good he's been. Alright. I think that's it for now. I do not know if... I'm going to try to do a better job, I think, of watching the time for the in-season episodes. Because I do make a lot of moves, and I like to talk about certain things. And I like having a bit more of a buffer. But, like, last season, that should have been both episodes as one season. The full season. I had no idea that I was actually that low on time for that episode. I need to get a second monitor at some point. I keep saying that, but I never do it. It's not that I can't afford it. I'm just lazy. And I don't have a lot of room on my desk. So anyway, thank you for watching. This was the big turnover episode. Let's breathe it in for a second here. I don't even know if it's going to even list this. It might not. Give me the positional register. Yeah, it doesn't list 2032 yet. It only will when we've played a game. But let's look at this. Same, new, same, new. We only kept 4 of our starters from last season. From an offense that was pretty good. So this is definitely the turnover episode. And to see what we can make with our new roster. Thank you for watching, and until next time, this has been Avindian, and I bid you good day.